Hello, I'm Thomas Rusk, and for my midterm project, I wanted to look at capturing contents of a computer's volatile data. And to help me do this, from our textbooks, I chose to check out the Belkasoft RAM capture. Well, to begin, analysis of a system's volatile memory can provide us with important data and possibly evidence. As we all know, volatile data is only maintained while the memory is supplied with power. All programs running on your system are storing data in RAM, so this fact means much crucial evidence may be found in this volatile data. So in turn, the first step for forensic analysis should always be to involve capturing a memory dump for later offline analysis. Running processes and programs, registry hives, active network connections, passwords, keys, and encrypted files are just some types of data that can be found in memory. Many web apps like Gmail or private incognito browsing modes will only store data in memory, meaning the evidence cannot be recovered from a hard disk. This data can be extracted and analyzed. Certain tools can be used to create a dump file to capture a complete copy of every bit of memory or cache, including some really good free tools. Examples of these tools include Access Data's FTK Imager, Zelster Dumpit, and FireEye's Memorize. For the purposes of this presentation, we will look at the Belkasoft RAM capture. After we extract the volatile data with this tool, we can analyze it with other tools like volatility that was mentioned in our textbook. Procedures have been developed into guidelines for following to properly capture this evidence via memory dump. One association, the ACPO, which is the Association of Chief Police Officers, developed this example of the following set of standards. Before you start, ask yourself, perform a risk assessment of the situation. Is it evidentially required and safe to perform the volatile data capture? If so, install a volatile data capture device that's separate from the system itself. Run the volatile data collection script, and once this is complete, stop the device. This is important for USB devices, which, if removed improperly before shutdown, can cause damage to the data or loss of the data. Then correctly follow procedures to remove the device. Then you need to verify the data output on a separate forensic investigation machine, not the suspect machine. And then immediately follow with a correct procedure standard power off. So these guidelines will kind of help give you a baseline to help maintain the integrity of any evidence you may collect. While we know the importance to maintain the credibility of our evidence by maintaining a proper chain of custody and maintain proper evidence handling, there are certain requirements that dump capture tools must conform to maintain their credibility. Some of these include creating the smallest footprint possible on the suspect system, the idea of portability as far as keeping your tools and devices separate from the suspect machine, and of course the principle of read-only access. Well, from our text I chose to look at the Belkasoft LiveRAM Capture. It is a free forensics tool downloadable at belkasoft.com. The Belkasoft LiveRAM Capture produces uncompressed raw binary output of a computer's volatile memory, and is compatible with both 32-bit and 64-bit editions of Windows. This includes going back to XP all the way to Windows 10 and Windows Server as well. This tool maintains the idea of portability by the fact that it does not require installation and it can be launched from a USB thumb drive. It's important that memory dumping tools be portable, able to connect externally or remotely, and also write protection is also vitally important. Tools requiring installation on a host computer could be ruled inadmissible in court for reasons of evidence validity. Also, investigators must use proper memory acquisition tools for the right operating systems. Some tools are unable to overcome protections imposed by certain anti-debugging systems operating in a privileged kernel mode, but Velkasoft is one RAM capture that does not have this problem, so it's one thing to be aware of. So, the first step to a RAM capture is to download and extract the tool. It is crucial to remember to extract those files to a USB drive or external drive. You must take care not to modify the system you are collecting the dump from and to create as small a footprint as possible. You want to avoid leaving any traces behind or violating evidence or making any changes to registry, for example. The best practice is to install your tool on a forensically wiped drive to prevent any cross-contamination or remnants of old files or any other nonsense like that. After the downloading and extraction is complete, plug your external RAM capture into the device you are investigating. Navigate to your tool's executable files, choose the appropriate version of Velkasoft to use, whether it's the 32-bit or the 64-bit, and run that program as an administrator. A user interface window will appear. Then enter the path of where on your drive you want the output in to save your dump image. The amount of free space to save your dump capture should always be larger than the total amount of RAM from the suspect system. Then you just simply press capture on the user interface. It's really quite simple. After this, the capture may take some time, depending on the size of the RAM and the cache, as well as the interface speed and the speed of the examiner's drive. Now, your capture may take some time, and mine did. And after the capture was complete, I safely ejected my USB drive and moved it to another system to examine the contents. And I was presented with two files, is the MEM file type, and it had quite a few kilobytes of data on each one. And at this point, we will take the capture and use further analysis tools to determine what has been found in our capture of live memory. This was very interesting to me, and I look forward to learning more about the subject, and it was very interesting seeing the principles of this tool tied in with proper evidence handling. Thank you very much for your time.